Friends, what I am going to take now may not be part of your syllabus, but these terms will be used quite often in international relations, and so that you should not have any difficulty in understanding any topic, because these terms quite frequently appear in almost all the topics like diplomacy, shuttle diplomacy, right? What is hard power? What is soft power? You must have some understanding of these terms, right? So I'll not go into detail, but brief. I mean, very in as less words as possible, right? I mean, the purpose is that you should not be caught off the guard. Whatever some certain difficult words come, you should know the meaning of those words. Purpose is only this much, although this may not be directly part of your syllabus. See, the way your foreign policy is conducted is called as diplomacy, and the people who are responsible for implementing your foreign policy are called as diplomats. And diplomats could be ambassadors, diplomats could be high commissioners, diplomats could be our envoys, right? All those who work for our country in foreign office, all those people responsible for implementing the objectives of our foreign policy are called as diplomats, right? Now, what is track 1 diplomacy, right? Track 1 diplomacy is a diplomacy which is conducted at the official levels, like between two prime ministers, two foreign ministers, two foreign secretaries, from the government to government level. That is called as track 1 diplomacy. When efforts to improve relations with other countries are confined only to through official channels, that is called as track 1 diplomacy. I mean, as you can read, the term refers to official governmental diplomacy. It is essentially a process whereby communications from one government to go directly to the decision-making apparatus of another. Thus, track 1 diplomacy is conducted by official representatives of state or state-like authority, heads of the state, state department or ministry, or foreign affairs officials, and other government departments and ministries. Track 1 diplomacy may also be referred as first track or one-tier diplomacy. So, in short, to cut the long story short, diplomacy, when it is done at official level, right? Official level could be anything at the level of prime minister, foreign minister, or between ambassadors, or of high commissioners and other envoys and diplomats. Anything at the official level is called as track 1 diplomacy. Now, what is track 2 diplomacy? It is a kind of informal. See, please remember, track 1 is purely formal. Informal diplomacy. Here, non-officials engage in dialogue with the aim of conflict resolutions or confidence building. Here, contacts and negotiations are unofficial, informal, between private citizens, sometimes called as non-state actors, right? When diplomacy is conducted at non-official level or at non-formal levels, of course, let me clarify, even this is largely done only with the approval of officials, right? So as a result, when this happens at non-official levels, like two eminent people from both the countries, right, meet and try to resolve a dispute outside very technical and legal areas, and who are more interested in purpose rather than process, right? So when this is done, that too in an informal manner, that too at non-official level, then it is called as track 2 diplomacy. Then what is track 3 diplomacy? People to people diplomacy, undertaken by individuals and private groups to encourage interaction and understanding, normally focused at the grassroots levels, right? That is, you can say two countries playing cricket team, or people to people interactions, right? NGOs from two countries coming together for some common cause, and this in turns, contributes to the process of confidence building measures, right? And which in turn can be used. Now, this does not happen immediately. it's a very long drawn process. See, confidence building measure resulting in conflict resolution is a very, very long drawn process. But these, all these actors, they have their own contribution in promoting diplomacy, right? As I said, it involves socio-cultural, scientific, this is, track to diplomacy. As I said, it's a kind of informal diplomacy. Here, non-officials engage in dialogue with the aim of conflict resolution or confidence building measures, right? Here, contacts and negotiations are unofficial, informal between private citizens, sometimes called as non-state actors, right? Then what is track 3 diplomacy? As I said, people-to-people diplomacy undertaken by individuals and private groups to encourage interaction and understanding. Now normally focused at the grassroots, right? Now what is track 4 diplomacy? It involves socio-cultural, scientific, environmental and educational programs between the two states, like cultural exchanges, exchange of academicians, right? So although this does not directly contributes to a problem solving or confidence building measures, but slowly and steadily it creates a very amicable and propitious atmosphere for track 1 diplomacy, right? Then track 5 diplomacy. It involves efforts made by the media concerned states towards conflict resolution and developing better understanding of each other's viewpoint. This is largely at the level of media. It could be print media or it could be electronic media, right? Then track 1.5 diplomacy. When official and non-officials cooperate in conflict resolutions, right? Remember when Atal Bihari Vajpayee went to Pakistan on a bus to Lahore, from Delhi to Lahore, right? He took many actors, he took many musicians along with him. So this is called as 1.5 diplomacy. That is when both officials and non-officials join together, right? For promoting cooperation, for confidence building measure, or anything that can contribute for conflict resolution. This is called as 1.5 diplomacy. Then multi-track diplomacy. When diplomacy operates simultaneously on all the tracks, that is called as multi-track diplomacy, right? So not much explanation is required. Whatever explanation you want, I have already mentioned in these slides. You can read them. Now, some important terms, though I do not have the typed matter, I can explain you by writing. One is shuttle diplomacy. What is shuttle diplomacy? See, when a particular, say, foreign minister or ambassador or foreign secretary or anyone, they totally focus on conflict resolution or problem solving on some major significant issues, they travel to and fro quite frequently. Like shuttle game is there, no? Shuttle goes from this end to this end. It constantly goes on at a very fast pace, right? This word is largely associated with American Foreign Secretary during the time of Nixon, Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger, when he for the first time broke Communist International, a major global event. What was Communist International? Please hear my lecture on Cold War. He successfully brought enmity between two powerful communist countries, that is China and Soviet Union at that time, right? So as a result, he traveled quite frequently between Beijing, at that time it was called as Peking, between Peking and Washington, Peking, Washington. So this is called as shuttle diplomacy. The word, as I said, emerged in the context of Henry Kissinger visiting China frequently, right? Now it is used for any kind of initiative whereby diplomats travel quite frequently between two capitals, right? Then one more word is hard power. what is hard power and what is soft power. Soft power, right? Hard power, we say China is the classic example of hard power. Although it totally lacks soft power. Hard power is basically the economic strength of a nation, infrastructural strength of a nation, uh, military strength of a nation, nuclear strength of a nation. Then, these are the examples of hard power, right? Nuclear strength of a nation, all these infrastructural, economic strength, right? The GDP, size of economy, right? Size of its navy, size of its army, which a power which is very, very clear and apparent, right? That is called as hard power of a nation. Like China has one of the best infrastructure in the world. It has one of the largest armies in the world. Its economy is next only to US, almost running into $14 trillion, right? Its infrastructure is, as I said, world class, right? Whether it is ports, uh, ports or airports or public transport or anything. See, all these are part of hard power, right? Now, what is soft power? Soft power is basically that power which emerges from the moral status of the foreign policy of a country, right? Its culture, its film industry, like Bollywood is example of India's soft power. Then its cultural ambassadors, spiritual gurus like Sadhguru Ravi Shankar, Baba Ramdev, or Sister Shivani. All these who go and generate lot of goodwill about India. Yoga, pranayam, meditation, right? Or for that matter, India's Ayurveda. All these are examples of soft power, right? Whereby country, even if it is weak economically, militarily, it can be very, very strong in terms of soft power if it has this. Its moral and ethical aspects of foreign policies are valued, and that particular country commands lot of respect because of soft power. Take for example Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama does not have any army. Dalai Lama has zero amount of hard power. But because of his moral stand, he being a spiritual guru, right? Because of the fairness of his stance, the fairness with which he argues, has generated lot of goodwill for Dalai Lama. As a result, he is a classic example of soft power. And a mighty country like China is also afraid of Dalai Lama, right? After all, why China gets oriented when Dalai Lama goes to Arunachal Pradesh? He should actually welcome him, right? But he thinks that he is a threat. Just imagine a country for whom Masood Azhar is a spiritual leader and Dalai Lama is a terrorist, right? So Dalai Lama is example, and many of our spiritual gurus who have popularized yoga everywhere, and all those people who have popularized Indian food, Indian culture, Indian medicine, all these are our ambassadors of soft power, musicians or anything, right? So I can give you example of countries. Take for example a country like Bhutan. It has lot of soft power but zero hard power. A country like China, which has lot of hard power but absolutely no soft power, right? Its goodwill is zero except in rogue countries like say North Korea, Pakistan, right? And America is a classic example of a country with maximum hard power and also its soft power, like free market or things like freedom, things like liberty, things like multiculturalism. All these are examples of America's soft power. Of course, as far as hard power is concerned, there is no parallel for America, whether it is nuclear strength, military strength, defense preparedness, infrastructural strength, economic strength, the largest economy in the world with almost 22 trillions. So it has abundance of hard power and fairly good amount of soft power. Now coming to a country like India, for a very long time we had lot of soft power but not much of hard power, at least not enough to create deterrence. That's why India became victim of so many wars, right? But today India has tremendous amount of soft power. The very fact that Narendra Modi's resolution on yoga today is adopted by the world community, almost 180 countries supported it, including 40 or 45 Islamic countries. This is a classic example of India's soft power, right? Because as I said, our foreign policy has always been aligned with solutions rather than with conflicts, right? And our faith in UN has always been unimpeachable, right? This also generates a lot of goodwill for the foreign policy of our country. So, and today India's military is considered as most professional. India is a nuclear power, and Indian economy, not to the extent of China, but certainly it is growing. Plus, India is trying to improve in infrastructure, right? On account of all this, India represents a balanced combination of both hard and soft power in varying degrees. Now, question arises: what is more important for a country, whether hard power or soft power? Ultimately, let me tell you, the voice of the country is heard only with the help of hard power. Even your soft power becomes effective only when it is backed by hard power. Otherwise, nobody cares for your soft power. If you really want to play a significant role in global politics, you need to have combination of both, right? Plus, but as I said, if you totally concentrate on soft power, right, without hard power, your soft power also will not be impactful. Nobody will take you seriously if your soft power is not backed by hard power. That is the reason why India was never taken very seriously earlier. Today, India is playing a significant role and Indian voice is heard. Wherever it is neglected, to that extent, we should increase our hard power. Then only tremendous amount of soft power which India has will fructify and what should I say, will achieve its desired end. So these are some of the terms in international relations, right? There could be many other terms. You can always refer to dictionary. With this, I hope I have tried to clear the different tracks of our diplomacy, right? Here I would like to conclude. Thanks.